In a new opinion piece from the Christian Post, headline, we are all Charlie Kirk Now, quote, across this great nation, millions of parents are trying to help their sons navigate the profound sadness and grief over Charlie Kirk's murder. Many of these parents barely knew who Charlie was, but their sons loved him. Many of America's youth looked up to Charlie and yearned for his messaging about God, family, country, conservatism, and truth. To paint a picture of how connected countless boys felt to Charlie at one school, they wore coats and ties to school to honor him. Others have taken to social media to express their gratitude for his leadership and to publicly declare that they will not be silenced. They are promising to carry on his legacy. Joining me now to discuss this is the Director of Research at Defending Education, Rhyen Staley. Thank you for the time tonight.
Thank you, Andrew. It's a pleasure to be on, man.
You know, it's funny. I'm 53, but I think I see something in this appeal by these young men. They saw the generation of men just before them, maybe their older brothers, maybe some older guys they knew, that were sold that typical male behavior is toxic, that men need to be restrained. They saw that what was being sold to women was that men are to be competed with, not to form partnerships with. And that would make me rethink the value of getting married as well, until someone came along and talked about tradition, the nuclear family, somebody that was approximately their own age. I mean, you look about the past decade of the confusion over gender among young people, that a lot of young men feel like they are not valued, that the state is replacing men as fathers and providers and protectors. And it seems like these young men were looking for someone to tell them it was okay to want to be a husband, a father, a provider, and a protector.
That's absolutely correct. I think that's the read I get on this too, is that they just need somebody to give them permission to be a young, godly male, right? To be a conservative. And so, then I'm sure a lot of them aren't even conservatives per se, but you know, what he did for them is he emboldened them to push back against this narrative that I've seen in the school system at the university and the K-12 level, having been inside, where they're told when they read The Crucible, for example, that it's all about the oppression of women. That they're told that they've got white privilege, right? We've seen that over the years and so forth. In 2019, while I was coaching college, they're told that there's the toxic masculinity and a rape culture on campus. And so what I'm really proud of is how these young people in general, but especially the young men, have behaved in the wake of this just an abomination of an event, this assassination of a guy that they looked up to. And instead of burning down cities and costing billions of dollars in damage, these young men are leading, and these young women too. Let's not leave them out in this big picture. But I'm really, really proud of them.
Well, the magic here is, and I said this, I show up on a college campus, right? I'm probably going to get the hardcore conservatives and college Republicans and maybe some people who want to scream at me. I wasn't setting up a tent. Right? At being approximately their age and saying, all right, well, here's what I believe is the biblical truth. Here's what I believe about society and family and the economy. And if you don't agree with me, let's have a debate in front of the crowd here. Let's just talk this out. What happened with Turning Point was it attracted the people that probably weren't politically connected to either side, that weren't going to tabling events or going to political events of either side. They were just there on the campus because they graduated high school and that's what they thought they were supposed to do. And, they got met with, it could be men who are black, white, Hispanic, those women. They got met with the campus culture that had gotten demonstrably worse over the past decade. And they heard a voice that was showing them something else in some other way.
Yeah, and I remember being in college back, in 2001, and if those events, first of all, weren't happening, especially the school I was at, but I would not have thought that thousands and thousands of young people would be showing up to these things, especially this last week. And so what I really think is important here is that to your point, he brought these people, these young people out and got them engaged. Right. They wanted to have dialogue, even if they disagreed. And it's really powerful that's what he was leading with, not these chants and encampments and so forth. Right. I mean, we have a really nice way to compare and contrast these two different movements that we've been seeing on college campuses. And I come back to, I think it's just absolutely amazing what the legacy he's left behind and how he was able to attract these young people to become engaged, even if they didn't agree with him, that they were having civil dialogue. Glenn Beck said this last week, that Charlie Kirk should be known as a civil rights guy, a civil rights martyr. And I think to point out that new college piece that you started off with, I think that's right. I think that he led very much like Martin Luther King and others, that we're gonna have these debates and we're gonna solve our problems by talking through them and letting the better ideas win.
That's the funny thing is he wasn't leading a protest movement. He was not painting banners early in the morning and having people hold them up and march on campus for whatever the cause was. I mean, if you look back about 12 years ago, innocently, he just popped up on a college campus with look. I remember I went to the University of Florida. We had this area called Plaza of the Americas, and people would set up all sorts of things. We had Hare Krishnas that would serve some kind of gruel. We had the kids that wanted to sign you up for Habitat, the alternative spring break where you'd go work for Habitat. There was all sorts of stuff in there, and I don't remember anybody setting up a debate. That was usually held in a lectern hall between the campus Democrats and the campus Republicans, and the turnout wouldn't be much, but whatever it is he did, he caught it at the right time. And I keep saying, I think it was fatigue with the social politics of Obama, that men are replaceable, the state will replace men are toxic, even by the standards of some other men, and that women didn't need men. And I was referencing the life of Julia and Pajama Boy. I think he just happened to be the right person in the right time as the pendulum was ready to swing in a different direction.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I also believe I saw this back in 2016 when I was teaching high school, where the young men were really leaning towards Trump. And the reason is because they were searching for meaning. And what Charlie did is he started to get them to find meaning in things. And it's not done yet. That's kind of my point of the piece as well, is we've got to continue this on, and it's going to be a collective effort, right? But what he did was he started to show them how to find meaning, real, tangible meaning in life. And that's what they killed him for. They murdered him because he was showing young men the way. And that's where I really get fired up and upset.
Now, look, nobody's saying don't have any fun in college, but maybe with the faith angle, maybe you're looking for your spouse while you're in college. Maybe you're thinking about the future as being a father while you're in college, not just the next kegger and the next, girls' dorm room you're going to go to. He seemed to make being somewhat socially conservative an acceptable, dare I say, cool thing on campus. I'll give you the last 10 seconds.
Yeah, I really think that he planted some seeds. And now our job is to work with our young people to continue to help those seeds grow.
All right. Thank you so much for the time tonight.
Thank you, Andrew.